Hello everyone and welcome back to another team preview. I've decided to put chat in timeout so that you can see the cat licking themselves because they started telling me to shut up. Chat cannot be trusted. Keep that in mind. But we do have another team preview coming up. We're going to talk about the Florida Mayhem. It's a team that defied a lot of expectations last year on the back of Goomba just cooking up one of the strangest teams that we've seen in a while, but ended up leading them to success. They didn't win any tournaments, but they were always there. They were always at the tournaments. They were always competitive and just really making it work with a lot of strange pieces. They did lose a couple of them and had to rebuild, but somehow Goomba has convinced some incredible players to come to the team for the 2023 season. So they have returning players in Checkmate, someone. They've retained RuPaul as well, but they've picked up a couple of other players. We have Merritt coming in as a hit scan player from the Houston Outlaws. He had a great rookie season playing a lot of the Sojourn, playing just all the hit scans, honestly. He was one of the best rookie hit scans that did come into the league, outperforming Kilo, his O2 Blast counterpart. And I'm surprised that Goomba was able to acquire Merritt. Talking about people that I'm surprised they could acquire, Chorong has also come from the Toronto Defiant and joined the Florida Mayhem. Chorong was lauded as one of the best main support options coming into their rookie season last year. The rumors are that the Toronto Defiant threw a bag at Chorong, and even then, they didn't have that much success. So Chorong has moved from them and come to the Florida Mayhem, I believe, citing friends with someone, just likes the idea of what's happening at the Mayhem, and they have absolutely stolen him away, and they actually have a very well-rounded roster on the back of the additions of Merritt and Chorong. They have also added, though, Sona, who I honestly, I don't know a lot about. Sona's a European contenders player. You look at his resume, not the biggest resume or anything to write home about, but if Goomba trusts them, I trust them. I have a lot of respect for Goomba as a coach. I've worked with him in the past. He's just a very smart, money ball brainiac type of player, but he's kind of like a tracer. I think he plays a little bit of hit scan here and there, but primarily coming in, I would say, to be the tracer player for this team if Checkmate isn't going to play it. So I expect them to primarily play Checkmate and Merritt throughout the year, but we'll see if Sona impresses us if the meta shifts to something that is beneficial for him. So that is the entirety of the roster. Let's talk about it a little bit more. So someone is leading the way as the only tank for this team. He made a name for himself as just being a lively, bubbly person, but in the server as well, takes a lot of control. Plays a lot of different heroes, isn't afraid to swap, isn't afraid to int, but sometimes it comes off as brilliant as well. He has a lot of flexibility, shown he can play some of the off-tank heroes if required as well, so I would expect him to be the solo tank of the Florida Mayhem and almost the captain-like player. The DPS, Checkmate, Merritt, and Sona, I sort of just talked about that a little bit, but Checkmate coming off of the 2021 season where Chadmate made an appearance and he had to play Reinhardt but didn't really get to play for the Florida Mayhem. We were surprised that he got re-signed for them in 2022 when Goomba took over. But Goomba said he believed in him, and we actually got to see that firsthand last year, playing that Tracer, playing that Genji, had a lot of great games. Is he your superstar DPS player? It's yet to be seen. It hasn't really been that impressive, but he has definitely held his own and held his weight against some of the best DPS players in the world, so sometimes it's just good to have a player like that. Merritt, I've already talked about him on the hit scan. He will be able to fit all the hit scan roles. So that really leaves Sona to just fill in the pieces where necessary. If, we get into a Tracer Echo meta, maybe Merritt will take a back seat. Only time will tell what the meta is going to be because we're going to have a lot of new support heroes coming into the season and anything can really happen. We've seen hit scan has fallen out of the meta in Overwatch 2 in the past. It could happen again. So they've shored up the holes there. The backline is Chorong and RuPaul. So Chorong, we've talked a lot about him as a player in the past. Just a great main support player. Plays the Lucio, but also has the skills to be able to play a lot of flex support heroes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're just content with keeping Chorong in that role and letting him play the Lucio, the Mercy, the Brig, the expected roles, while also allowing him to feel over onto, Ana or Zen if required. RuPaul, as I would say one of the only Western players, but Sona is there as well, is going to have his work cut out for him as a Western player on a primarily Korean team. He is mechanically insane. You cannot doubt it. Every time RuPaul came in, I think he had similar levels of mechanics to Sir Majed, who was an absolutely insane player, but with a little bit more, I don't want to say intelligence, I would say a better mind for when to go aggressive and when to play safe. You know, not inting as much, not playing as aggressive, while also being able to keep up that level of mechanics. So RuPaul, I respect that he's come back for another season. I'm surprised it was on the Florida Mayhem, but we'll see how Goomba navigates it around that. Goomba has actually said in an interview that the way he built the roster from last year was he just signed the best players he thought he could get, and he worked out language barriers, team synergy later. That worked for him last year. He's doing the exact same thing here again. If you look at the players that he signed, they are just mechanically some of the best players available in the pool that would go to the Florida Mayhem that they could afford at the same time as well. So let's see how it pays out for the Florida Mayhem once again. I expect this team to be sneaky good. Do I expect them to be, contending for championships again? No, it's not going to be that season for the Florida Mayhem, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them competing to qualify for the midseason madness, to go deep in the playoffs and sort of push some of these other teams to the limit. I don't expect them to be bad. I think something would have to go terribly wrong for them to be bad and end on the lower end. So I would roughly put them around 5th, 6th, 7th if I was doing a power rankings right now. I do want to talk about the coaching staff and the management. Avast is not, just clearing this up, is not a coach. He might be here, but don't get the wrong impression. The head coach is Goomba. McGreevy is the assistant coach. This is how they functioned last year. They just have 2 coaches, Swing Chip as the assistant manager and translator, which is going to be very important. So the management for the Florida Mayhem has not changed at all heading into this year, but some of the players have. So it'll be exciting to see what this roster can pull out, if they can defy expectations once again. But I think there is more pressure on this team to perform than there was last year. We've got a couple more team previews coming out. I know I've been baiting the San Francisco Shock one coming out soon. That is absolutely intentional. So San Francisco Shock fans, if you're sitting there and seething and wishing I would do the Shock, maybe the next one will be San Francisco Shock. Maybe it won't be. You'll have to subscribe. Maybe you can like this video. If I get 1,000 likes, the next one will be the San Francisco Shock video. Let's do that. Let's just bait likes. Let's bait the algorithm. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you guys next time. Much love.